Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here doing the weekly reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can always look at your Moon and Rising sign readings in addition to your Sun sign reading for added clarity for the week, or in case your Sun sign reading doesn't resonate with you for any reason. Thanks for sticking around, by the way. I did take last week off, so thanks for coming back. And I appreciate you being here. I love reading for you. So this is for the week of August 24th through to the 31st. This week I'm going to be focusing for all signs on hidden strengths. If you've been around for the past couple of months, you know that I switch up what the focus is. And for the past couple of weeks, we were looking at healing. So yeah, we're going to look at hidden strengths this week to see if you can pull yourself out of something difficult or just had something available to you that you weren't aware of or were unsure of in terms of moving forward or personal evolution. So we're using the Wisdom of the Oracle for our main spread today, and then as always drawing additional message cards from the from the Medicine cards and then from the Healing with the Angels Oracle. As always, this is a general reading, so whatever is most prominent in your life this week, Leo, I encourage you to take these messages and apply them to, and hopefully you find them helpful in healing. So what does Leo need to know about their hidden strengths this week? Cool. Okay, Leo, it looks like a decision is around the corner for you. It looks like there could be some conflict, or you could encounter some conflict during that decision making, but it will have to do with who you spend the most time with. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the relationship at all. It could, in fact, mean that something that's been sort of lingering, that's been needed to be spoken about, for example, is just going to be laid on the line, and it's going to assist smooth transition into the future, whether the relationship lasts throughout it or not. Please recall, whenever I speak of relationships, I do include the ones that we have with ourselves. So if for whatever reason this doesn't resonate on an external relationship level with you, do include your own self, your internal dialogue or conversations you have with yourself, especially about where you're headed, okay? What you're doing, depending on what's most prominent for you this week, of course, where you're headed with regard to community building or romantic relationships or platonic relationships. Of course, this could include work or school or even a sort of a life-altering decision. Maybe you're changing disciplines in school. Maybe you're looking at taking on something entirely different from what you've been doing for the majority of your life, or at least the past several years of your life. You could definitely be drawn into a different scene altogether here, but it will be around what you are choosing to do, as opposed to what you could be drawn into and be made part of, not necessarily against your will, but not necessarily with your whole heart that you're being drawn into. Ultimately, whenever I see a big decision around the corner for you regarding relationships, including the one that you have with yourself, we're looking at a lot of excitement, a lot of energizing here. So it's actually an exciting week ahead. It just means that there's a big decision that's available to you, or one that you didn't realize that you had to make or that you could make in order to improve your life. And again, with the theme regarding hidden strengths, you could have it closer to you or closer to realization or reality, this future that you want or this outcome that you want, if you are to put your foot down about something here. So without further ado, let's look at the central position card. Of course, this represents you. The why card is really the motivation behind why we're doing something, the motivation behind why we would be compelled to do something. This is looking at reasonings, the larger questions, the background to why we go about thinking and behaving the way we do. And this is your current position. This is where we find you in a state of looking at pros and cons. Really, essentially, and not necessarily the pros and cons. I'm not seeing, for example, all that glitters here. So it's not necessarily the pros and cons of what you can get out of what you're engaged in or what you're willing to work on or in the middle of working on, for example. But differentially, what we're looking at here is what you are about to provide. What do you have to give up? What are the sacrifices you need to make in order to go this direction? And this is where the motivations are coming to light here. I really feel that you feel confident with what you're about to get out of it, okay? I don't think that's a big question for you here. I think it's the question or the concern around a hidden strength here could be, turning the tables on what you could be getting out of a change of heart or a change of scene here, and then introducing, your highest self. What can you provide? What can you give? Because I think there could be a state that you've reached here, or a precipice, if you will, that you've reached where you understand you'll get everything you want anyway, and it's kind of not even an endeavor for you anymore. Your focus is on what are you giving and what's the cost of it to you, right? And again, without a reliance or a focus on monetary or even material costs, we're looking at, emotional costs, mental costs, the cost of consciousness. Are you conscious while doing, when you're consciously taking part in something and you're doing something with out of conscientiousness, this will lead you to higher and further self-development no matter what you get out of it here. So a great deal of focus on provision as opposed to acquisition here, which is just beautiful to see. And again, I'm not terribly surprised with regard to that, because it's a very higher arching question and theme for you this week. To see the fork in the road and the tribe on either side. These are really big parts of your life that are going to be affected by this, okay? So fork in the road being the influence to the current position is that you recognize a change needs to be made here, which is why you're going through this motivation. Why am I compelled this way? What can I provide? What's the cost to me emotionally and physically and psychologically even? And again, quickly, what would be the cost to your relationships? Okay, to even a sense of, if not actual, security here, okay? So it's not a small question, it's not a small issue for you. It's something that you're taking very seriously and will have very definitive outcomes one way or the other. But the cost, of course, especially with chaos and conflict being the general energy to all this, yeah, something could very well be upset here. But as long as you're going in your to thine own self be true direction here, I think that the cost will be worth it, right? And I do believe that this is what is being said around your hidden strength here is, take heart that even if something looks that it's being diminished or going to the wayside, or you're losing out on some type of community here, or some type of relationship, or even something, as I said at the beginning, even if this is internal to you, something that you've been accustomed to. It's just in that regard a habit. So it could just be that that's what you need to let go of here, that you have more energy and strength than you may have thought that you did around this issue. So we're just looking at some of the major cues in fork in the road, which is really just making a definitive decision, is of course the owl. A great deal of wisdom is already within. I think you know which direction you want to go in. It's just a matter of, you know, I think you're at the assessment stage here. You know, what really does it look like once it's realized? And you're just taking stock of that. And of course, the distraction with the rhesus monkey with the mask on. Yeah, you've been distracted from making a decision around this. Again, looking at the tribe card here, it could just be out of an element of comfort, right? And I'm not judging. Don't judge yourself about this either. You know, human beings are creatures of comfort, so it's not unusual that you would just want to stay comfortable and make everyone happy and not want to rock the boat. And this is natural, really, as a human being. But you're weighing the cost to your soul and consciousness here, Leo. And yeah, you're, you know, essentially your foot is sort of in one door and out the other here, and I think you just need to make a move for yourself. And again, with hidden strength, it's that you have more than what you need is what I'm seeing here. You really do have everything that you need here, and you are taken care of, so you can feel safe in making that decision. The tribe is the probable outcome card. This is where we're looking at family and friends and peer groups and relationships, even higher learning, even again with the sense of self that we have. If these aren't external relationships, this sense of who you are, right? This the egoic self, not the super ego, not the person that precedes you or your reputation necessarily, but who you believe you are, okay? Who you understand yourself to be when you're presenting yourself to groups. So this is up for change. We're looking at this undergoing some evaluation or absolute definitive change here this week. So chaos and conflict being the general energy for the week, we're just looking at you absolutely saying, you know, this could tick somebody off. Yeah, it probably will. But that's the nature of the beast. When you're looking out for yourself and when you are interested in evolving to higher consciousness and evolving to your higher self, there's always going to be someone who feels like, you know, you're letting them down somehow. They're allowed to feel this, by the way. That's okay. That's normal. But that is their chaos and that's their conflict. They have a choice while you're making your decision for your highest self, Leo, in my view. Their choice is to support you and have you in their lives, or their choice is to say, I can't get behind this and I'm not able to evolve with you at this point in time. And I'm going to have to let you go, or you're going to have to walk away from this. But remember, that's their choice. Not everyone can evolve with you. But, you know, this doesn't mean that it has to be done with antagonism or with a mean-spiritedness as well. Certainly, if someone is mean-spirited toward you, you can close the door on that, put your foot down on that. But you don't have to engage with mean-spiritedness, not like I think in any way that you will here. Squirrel is the gathering information, gathering sustenance, gathering a sense of pride, gathering a sense of willfulness, and I would even suggest here with a great change that there's a sense of safety, that you need to understand that you are safe to make this move, and that you do have what it takes to make this move. You could be putting things in order for yourself here in terms of, you know, once you discover what the decision is and where you're now headed, you could be en route to procuring information in terms of moving ahead as well. So that could be, you know, new relationships or developing new, what I like to call networking. If you're going into a different group, for example, or into a different community, networking will be really helpful for you at this time. And of course, with focus, really not surprised to see this at all. Basically, it's the opposite of this little rhesus monkey here with the mask. I mean, this is really just diversion. It's fun, it's frolic, it's folly, nothing inherently terrible about it, just that it can be a time suck. It can be a big time suck, and it can get you off track really easily. So, you know, back to a focus on hidden strengths here. You can use your focus to your own benefit here, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. You do you this week, Leo, and really keep high-spirited and keep your eye on the prize. Stay focused with your own highest intention. Don't let conflict or chaos bring you down here. It's going to be someone else who has a problem with that, and you can communicate with them later once you've made your firm decision here and once you're en route for your highest good. So if you have any comments, let me know below. I love hearing from you. And while it's one of the last few free things in the world to do, you can subscribe to my channel today and then get updates for all of your weekly videos and upcoming ones where I'll be doing face-to-face videos with you regarding your sun sign, your moon signs, and we're going to be looking at other issues I'm excited to talk about. So thanks again for being here. I love doing your readings for you, and until next time, take care. Bye for now.